Hi, my name's Gabe Newell. I've been here demonstrating Half-Life 2, and you've got access.
I'm in command of this operation. I want this area cleared. Affirmative on that. Go, go, go! You got it. Move to this position.
Roger that.
Go, go, go!
Same different day.
Al-Shatan. Contact!
Man down! Man down!
Congratulations on your promotion, Corporal. Move to this position.
Fire in the hole! Go, go, go! Tank, heads up!
Strike team requesting target coordinates. Sending target coordinates.
Target acquired.
Fox 1, missile away.
Hello there guys, my name is Mario Rizzo. I'm a game designer with Sony Online Entertainment, and I'm here to talk to you about the game that I work on, which is EverQuest 2. Here is a sample of the character creation and customizations in EverQuest 2. One of the big things that we really wanted to do was differentiate the players from one another, and one of our goals in design was to make sure that the characters were able to identified in game solely by their features. So if you can see, there's a wide variety of customizations we have for each of the races here. Another set of options that we did provide for the customizations was also that if you take a look, you can see that the dwarves and whatnot have tattoos. There's some specific to the races, like you'll see the different ones for the dwarves, the barbarians, even the half-elves, who are a little bit on the rebellious side, tend to have some piercings and some of the funny hair colors that a lot of our players are really looking forward to, so we added those in. That's a shot of our newest race, the Ratanga. There's 16 player races that we're going to have for EverQuest 2, and that was just a brief glimpse at them. And that was the beginnings of our adventure party that's going to go through the little demonstration I'm giving here for you guys. Now, one of the big things a lot of people ask about is how the tutorial experience would work in EverQuest 2, what the changes would be, and how we would be able to draw in players that maybe were unfamiliar to the genre. The first thing we wanted to do was create the most immersive world, the most realistic online world that we possibly could. And one of the tools that we used to do that was the voiceover. You can see here we have about 130 hours of recorded voiceover. That's about the length of 65 feature motion pictures that you'll see here. It looks like one of the Dracotas is harassing the Farseas trading company. Here in the beginning of the tutorial, you'll see Captain Barlos will lead the new players, the refugees, to the Isle of Refuge. From that point, what they're going to do is select an archetype, select their skills and level up, and then from that point on, they're going to want to seek citizenship into one of the two major cities. And the two major cities that exist, of course, in the lands of NORAP now are that of Kinos and that of Freeport. So we'll start with Freeport. As you can see here, the Overlord, Lucan Delir, rules from up on high in the Citadel. If you look down, you can take a look and see the large armies that he's massing with the militia. This is also a good example of the city ecology that we're putting into EverQuest 2, which is another one of our features. What that means is that the NPCs in our game no longer simply react to the players, but also react to situations in themselves. So what you'll see is NPCs actually speaking to each other, acknowledging each other's ranks, greeting their friends, maybe not speaking with their enemies, and also they'll respond to the players too. So perhaps you've gained enough action with the Freeport militia, like these members of the militia house that you saw when you just walked in, you'd be able to actually have them salute you or greet you. It's just another little social aspect that we've sort of rolled into the design to make sure that the city life feels as immersive as possible for our players. Now, next, if you have the city of evil and tyranny that's ruling one side of NORAP, of course you have to have the defenders of good and justice, and here you can see the city of Kinos, definitely much different tone than that of Freeport. If you take a look, you can see that monk over there in his nice new costume getting ready to meditate. Up ahead of him, you see the Three Towers Magical School. That's where the 3 schools of magic are taught in Kinos. One of the other features we really like to talk about with the cities is that of player housing. There's been a lot of questions about it. Player housing is going to be available to all the players of EverQuest 2. In fact, you're issued your own instanced apartment, which is going to have a little small area for each player once they complete their citizenship quest for the city of Kinos or Freeport. So all players will be issued some housing immediately upon entering the city. It's also, though, not the limits of housing in the game. There are multi-room homes as well as large mansions and guild houses, which are not instanced but are seen in game, where you can sort of walk by and your friends can kind of look at you and go, hey, it's my castle over there, that's mine. If you want to hang out and check it out, maybe, you know, let you in for some gold. Here you can see, this is a example of the Orcish Wastes. You can see that the orcs have changed a bit in the 500 years. They're much more tactical. They've evolved considerably, and they're much more intelligent, therefore a threat to both the cities of Freeport and Kinos. If you look forward there, you can see that the orcs are gathering in front of the Citadel, and our young party of adventurers that had started out in the beginning are going to try and take them on. So let's see how they do combat-wise. Some of the things you guys might want to know while you're watching here is that, first of all, you'll notice all of the different styles of animations we use here. You can see the monks are actually going to use martial arts. Notice that the warriors are using their shields. They're blocking and parrying. You can see the casters casting out their runes as they incant spells right there on the bridgeway. It's just another one of those added extras we like to throw in so that everyone can not just feel their role when they're fighting in combat, but also see it and visually experience it. Now, this next area is actually kind of one of my favorites. It's the obelisk. Here you can see our party of adventurers have reached the sort of the mid-level range. You can see they've definitely got some better gear going on here. Oh, it looks like the rogue had to use her hide ability. And it looks like they've triggered a Shadow Mendeep here in the obelisk. Hopefully, they'll be able to get out of it okay. We'll see. Ooh. You can see off there in the distance, it looks like some Night Bloods have been summoned. Oh, and the warrior gets hit immediately. That's another thing that we should probably explain, and a good example of our encounter system and our combat brains in EverQuest 2. One of the things about the mobs in EverQuest 2 is they are no longer going to simply attack people at random, but they are going to select the target that actually causes the most danger to them. So those Nightbloods targeting the warrior was definitely not an accident. Also, if you're able to speak their language and they're sentient, you may be able to hear the other races sort of plotting against you and whatnot. So if you were to speak Orc, instead of hearing the gobbledygook, you would hear that fighter in the middle, he's the strongest one, get him. And then at that point, you'd see all the mobs converge on you, and hopefully we're hoping that adds a little bit more realism, something of a tactical element. It's something that our players have really seemed excited about, and the community is excited about, so we really wanted to add that in. Probably the last set of questions I get has to do with the high-end, the instance zones and encounters. You see here the Temple of Kazakh-Thul, a name that actually is very familiar to all the old EverQuest 1 players here, and if you take a look and see, there is our group of adventurers finally reaching the pinnacle of their power. They're casting a beneficial buff spell on themselves and moving through the, well, it looks like something startled the lizardman here. What the, oh. I think I see a dragon there in the distance. Well, looks like the adventurers are going to try and take them on. Let's see what happens. Ooh. Well, don't give up yet, guys. Come on, get back up. Venacor's not that bad. Looks like he's going to issue them a little warning. Back into combat we go. It's also worth noting, guys, that everything you see here is actual in-game footage. We actually shot this with the in-game engine and whatnot. If you take a look behind you, the proof lies in the fact that I have a group of players on our servers that are fighting Venacor. It's the same group of characters, so if you guys want to actually see what you saw here in-game, it's right behind you. Looks like being on the side of good doesn't mean that you're always going to win in EverQuest 2, but it does mean that if you guys think you can do better, go to our website and sign up for the beta. We're still taking applications at www.everquest2.com, and also we've completely redesigned it with added a lot of lore for the cities and the different races, so that if you guys haven't been there in a while, you might want to check it out. Thank you guys very much.
Presente, considerable. Corner.
under heavy fire.
Incoming!
Taking sustained fire. Close ahead. They're everywhere. Concentrate fire. We're under fire. Taking heavy flak. Turn fire. We're under fire. Taking heavy flak.
Incoming!
They're everywhere.
Incoming enemies.
I am dominating. Enemy destroyed.
Enemy dispatched. Heads up, people.
Damn, we're good. Turn fire. New hostile inside.
We're under heavy fire. Enemy in sight, sir.
We're under fire. Enemy in range. Enemy in range.
We're under heavy fire.
Taking sustained fire.
They're attacking.
Engaging enemy. Watch the fire. We are under heavy fire. Use cover. We're attacked. We're getting stronger.
bit of a zoo this time. My name's Gabe Newell. I'm the managing director at Valve, and I'm going to show you Half-Life 2, as well as give you an idea of what we're doing with multiplayer.
Rise and shine, Mr. Freeman. Rise and shine. Not that I wish to imply you have been sleeping on the job. No one is more deserving of a rest, and all the effort in the world would have gone to waste until, well, let's just say your hour has come again. So wake up, Mr. Freeman. Wake up and smell the ashes.
Just like the original game, Half-Life 2 starts off by introducing you to the world, its occupants, and your role in this world since Black Mesa.
End of the line.
Welcome. Welcome to City 17. You have chosen or been chosen to relocate to one of our finest remaining urban centers. I thought so much of City 17 that I elected to establish my administration here in the citadel so thoughtfully provided by our benefactors. I've been proud to call City 17 my home.
It's all I have left.
So, whether you are here to stay or passing through on your way...
The only ones on that train?
Welcome to City 17. It's safer here. In the citadel so thoughtfully provided by our benefactors. I've been proud to call City 17 my home. And so, whether you are here to stay or passing through on your way to parts unknown, welcome to City 17. It's safer here.
This must be a mistake. I got a standard relocation, just like everybody else.
This next segment is one of my favorites from our playtest. This playtester shows how physics can get you into some really interesting trouble, as well as how it can get you out. At this point, I would have been hitting reload. It's too heavy. The Half-Life 2 engine called Source, its integration of physics makes vehicle implementation straightforward. We're very curious to see how the mod community will take advantage of this. An area in Half-Life 2 is called Ravenholm, has been infested with zombies. Father Grigori has sort of appointed himself caretaker of the area.
Brother. And so we meet at last. You are to be commended for avoiding my traps. The work of a man who once had too much time on his hands and now finds time for nothing but the work of salvation. I suspect you have little wish to remain in Ravenholm, so I will show you to the mines. Follow me, brother, and tread lightly, for this is hallowed ground.
You'll learn more about the life cycle of zombies in the second game. You're about to see one of those variations called Fast Zombie, for obvious reasons. In this last segment, you'll see Gordon and a group of humans unsuccessfully try to take out a Strider.
That's all for now. The right man in the wrong place can make all the difference in the world. I will see you up ahead.
In addition to showing Half-Life 2, we've also been talking about our multiplayer for the first time. So, when Half-Life 2 ships this summer, we'll also have all of our original Half-Life games available on Source. So taking advantage of shaders, physics, new models, and to give you a sense of what it's going to be like to play multiplayer games like TFC or Day of Defeat or Counter-Strike on Source, I'll give you a quick demonstration of Counter-Strike running on Source. For those of you who are Counter-Strike players, this is DE Aztec. That concludes the demonstration. You can also see a different set of demos running over at the ATI booth. I hope you enjoyed this and look forward to having you play it this summer.
Welcome to City 17. Instinct could inflict a fatal injury on our species.
You're good as new. Hey, Jimmy! Yeah! Get him there! That guy! Watch it!
W-I-L-L-W-R-I-G-H-T, game designer, VA Max. So, this is The Sims 2. This is actually the neighborhood level. We've made the game a lot more customizable than The Sims 1 was. This is actually a terrain that was generated in SimCity 4. If you choose, you can generate your own neighborhood in SimCity and import it. You can also make multiple neighborhoods. And so, this is like a new level of editing that The Sims 1 did not have. Even at this level, I can actually add things like water towers, trees, hot air balloons, ships, and there's behavior. I'll go through the process very quickly of how you create a new sim, because that'll give you some insight into how detailed the sims have become. We're now dealing with a new 3D engine, but at the same time, we've really increased the depth of their personalities. They have long-term memories and aspirations. They can get to very extreme ranges of behavior. The character creation, I'm going to kind of quickly pop into this. Like The Sims 1, I kind of start. I can pick, male or female. It's much more detailed, though, the process. Here I can pick our hairstyle, coloration, just about anything you can imagine customizing on this character, I can change. You should pretty much reasonably be able to put in anybody you know in this. So these are different face styles that I can go directly to. Or I can pick individual things like the chin and actually kind of modify the chin or the nose, the mouth, eyes, eye color. Even things like makeup. So here's mascara, blush, lipstick color. I could give her glasses, change her eyebrows. If it was a man, I could give him different beard styles. The clothes are now a separate part from this sim. In the original Sims, it was all kind of burned into one thing. Now there's a wide variety of clothing styles that I can pick for her here. These are tops, these are bottoms. This is her normal wear that she'll wear during the day. I can also define her formal wear, what she wears when she wants to dress up. Also her underwear, pajamas, swimwear, athletic. Those can all be defined for the sim. Finally, there's the personality. We have a new thing in The Sims 2, which is aspirations. Each sim kind of has different ambitions in life. You know, what is going to make them happy? How do you have to play them? And Sims with different aspirations, you have to play very differently. You know, the different tactics in the game. So I could give her a family aspiration, or knowledge, or wealth, or maybe romance. Down here, I'm actually picking a personality. And as I pick different personalities, I actually kind of see that, oh, this is a little bit shyer. I actually see her kind of manifesting the personality on screen. This personality is a little bit more kind of grumpy in a way, as you can see. Anyway, I'll just kind of select her right now. So you can go fairly deep into creating a custom sim. I'll make another one here. I could also, if I don't want to go through that whole process, just kind of click and get random sims and get a sense of the range of styles that I can get out of a sim. Now, there's another way to create a sim. I'll just kind of accept this guy. If I wanted to create a child for these two, I could actually do a different method. I could come in here and I could say, if those two were married, what would their plausible offspring be? And now it's actually using genetics in the game. You know, the genetics both at the appearance level and also at the personality level. So, you know, if they're both grouchy, the kid's likely to be grouchy, or if one's grouchy and the other one's not, the kid's gonna get kind of a random reshuffling of their genes. So basically, I'm kind of jumping through random children they could have. This is what he would look like as a child. When he grew up to be a teenager, he would look like this. As an adult, this is what he would look like. And then, you know, as he got older, he would look like that. So I can actually look at how they would appear through their entire age range. That happens to all the Sims now. They actually kind of smoothly age and grow up. And the way you play them changes, their personality changes. They have different needs and desires as they get older. I'm gonna jump out now back into the game. And we're gonna go back to the neighborhood. The building mode of the game has also become much more elaborate. We can do a much wider variety of building styles than we can do in The Sims 1. You can kind of actually just kind of look in the buildings that we have here and get some sense of the architectural breadth of the game. And let's zoom out. And then one of these are all basically save games. These are all places I can go and play in the game. Let's see, I think one of these, yeah, this one I think has a family in it. We'll zoom into here. So now we're gonna load this house. The Sims also have much deeper awareness of what's going on around them. Because it's 3D, we can really zoom in close to them. As you saw in the Sim creation, they're much more detailed in appearance, but they also exhibit things like facial expressions and much more subtle body language. So rather than having a lot of graphs that you're having to read to figure out what's going on or what their mood is, you can pretty much look at them and their body language will tell you. So here we are in this household. This is a family, a small family that lives here. They're having kind of like a little party, so they have a lot of guests over. Right now the game is paused. If I unpause the game, now we see it start moving. So this is the husband that lives in this house. He's in the pool swimming. This is the mother, and she has this small child, and the rest are neighbors and family that are over visiting. I can look at her and see what her aspiration is. It's family, and so this is her little toddler. I can actually have her do different things with him. The original Sims had about 30 social interactions that you could do between the characters. The Sims 2 has about 130, you know, a very detailed level of kind of social interaction between the characters. Right now, she has different needs or wants, you know, based upon her aspirations. So one thing she wants to do is hug her son. Once she accomplishes that, we'll see a new need appear in its place. That's what the spinner is doing here. She also has fears. If there's certain traumatic things that happen to her, they can become phobias later in life and really screw her up. You can, you know, develop a really screwed up sim psychologically. Now, it's Alex's birthday, so he got a cake. Now, if I have her actually light the candles on the cake, it will actually progress her toddler up to a child. And this is kind of like a major life event for the kid. Right now, she's talking to this guy. I think it's her father. You can actually have multi-generational kind of stories that you're playing out in here. This is her husband. He's kind of a flirt, basically. So she lights the candles here. And the other Sims kind of recognize what's going on, and they're coming over to celebrate his birthday, have a little party. We can turn the sound down a bit. Now this is a kind of significant event for him, and so he blows out the candles, and then he'll actually grow up to the next level. And at that point, he becomes a child, and you actually have to play him somewhat deeper. Now, as a child, I can kind of look at what his needs and wants are, and they're going to be very different than the adults. So I have to play him differently. So every stage of life is almost a different strategy you have to learn, and the different personalities are different strategies. I can look at the husband, for instance. This is Don Baxter. His aspiration is romance, and so I can look at what his wants are. He wants to talk to Dina, who's one of the, I think, the cute neighbor. Well, actually, he's talking to her right now, dancing. I'll have him chat with her a little bit. Right now, they're dancing. Now, depending on how far he goes with this, his wife is likely to kind of notice if she's in the same room. Right now, she's having a conversation with this guy over a birthday cake. But looks like they're hitting it off pretty well here. They're talking about trains or something. Or curvy roads. Curves, that's what they're talking about. So basically, there's a lot more depth to the personality of the Sim. But yet we tried to make the game such that somebody who has never played The Sims before, they can come in and it looks pretty much like The Sims 1.0. Or if I've played The Sims 1.0, I can come in and play it exactly the same way without having to understand the additional complexity. So we want to make sure that the game is still very accessible, even though we're going to far more detail in all these different directions. It's customizable, and one of the things we want to do with that is we now have the ability to make movies. You can capture movies from within the game. There's a separate camera mode that gives me more of a cinematic camera that I can kind of fly around like a Quake cam and get different kind of zooms and pans and dolly shots. I can give you a quick example of a movie that was made in the game by by the producer, Lucy Bradshaw. There you go. So this is all captured in-game footage that you just play the game, turn on the movie mode, and this is a very simple story. It's about this kid with all the girlfriends he's had. It gives you some sense of the different situations, the different socials, And this, it was very, it took about an hour to make, just kind of doing this stuff in game, capturing it, putting it together. Now it's growing up to an adult. So The Sims 1 had this storytelling mode where you could capture, screenshots and, write a story. It was kind of like making comic books. And so the difference here is that now the users will be able to actually make movies. And if you look at all the different levels that a player can customize the game in, all the different directions, we had a huge community that built around The Sims 1. Huge amounts of content for the game. And with The Sims 2, we're trying to build an even more vibrant community with more content. And so once we have all that content available, then you'll have a huge amount of resources, props and actors to bring in to make these movies. And then you'll be able to share these movies over the net. So I think people are going to think about this, somewhat differently, more like they're a director in a movie. At every level of the game, even down to like the build mode in buy mode. This is the buy mode. All the objects I can pick now, and I can even recolor them, to match styles. I can make collections. When players make custom objects, they can actually transparently appear in my interface without me leaving the game. So we're trying to make the player-to-player pollination of these objects more transparent. So almost any point of the game where we could let the players do more customization, we did. And any place we could make the Sims kind of exhibit deeper, more interesting behavior, we did. Let's see what's he doing now with her. Oh, they're dancing again. Let's have him flirt. This is probably not going to make his wife very happy. Yeah, now he's flirting with her. So his wife actually kind of is having like a little little breakdown here. Now, while she's sitting there having a breakdown, we can kind of look at her point of view. Let's see, here we are with her. She's going a little bonkers there. One of the things that actually happens is she has an imaginary therapist that appears. If I select another person, you don't see him. The only person that can see this guy is her. So if I select her, he's visible, but if I select another character, he's invisible. So they can have these neuroses that develop depending on how you play the game. And one thing that people really enjoy doing with the game, with The Sims, is exploring kind of the dark side or all the different failure states. And so we really went to a lot of trouble to add much deeper, more elaborate failure states all around The Sims 2. But that's generally it in a nutshell. We basically took what we thought players liked the most about The Sims 1 and tried to keep it exactly the same, and took the new areas where we thought we had the most opportunity to expand the game and really push that out, both in terms of the simulation and the graphics technology, and hopefully, we'll see just huge amounts of player creativity emerge from that, both in terms of custom objects and in terms of like the movies that they'll make with it.
EA Games.
Challenge everything.
shadow and flame. There will be no dawn for men.
Sauron moves to strike the city of Minas Tirith.
Prepare for battle! Get the women and children out!
Yes, absolutely. A miner is arriving at your settlement. A miner is unhappy because your farms do not produce enough food. A farmer is joining your settlement. You do not have any stones. It's payday. A scholar is starting a job in your village. All your residences are occupied. Yes. Yes. Yes, sir. Yes? Absolutely. Yes. Yes, sir. For the king!
Unreal Engine 3 uses a per-pixel lighting model, which allows for advanced effects like high dynamic range lighting, as you can see on this fountain. Assets in this scene were constructed in 3 steps. First, we build a very detailed high-resolution mesh. Then, we build a low-resolution version of that mesh. Finally, our mesh processing tool then compares the 2 models and stores the difference in a normal map texture. The engine then draws the low-res asset with this normal map, giving the impression that we're displaying its high-poly counterpart in real time. This allows display of immensely detailed worlds at excellent frame rates. The scene you're seeing here is around 1 million polygons of total in-game assets, which came from about 200 million polygons of source art. Now we'll take a look at some of the new lighting features in Unreal Engine 3. This light, for example, has a cowling that casts soft shadows on the scene around it. This is accomplished using a light function. In this case, the function takes 2 cube maps, one very crisp and the other blurred, and interpolates between them based on the distance to a surface. As the light begins to move away from the wall, the shadows will blur before fading out completely. This effect simulates area lighting. Other lighting features included in Unreal Engine 3 are height fog, demonstrated here, and virtual displacement mapping. Using virtual displacement mapping, these bricks appear to have depth, visible sides, and even grout holding them together. As demonstrated in wireframe mode, however, they're constructed from very few polygons. This flickering light is another example of a light function. Light functions allow an artist to assign materials to any light and control how that light displays within the world. In this case, it processes a simple change in brightness. Unreal Engine 3 allows total control over how objects interact with the environment. All of the objects in this scene are physically responsive in some way. They can be picked up and thrown around within the environment. The refrigerator behaves as one would expect it to, demonstrating hinges, independent contents, removable shelves, and constrained drawers. It is also possible to have flexible objects like tubes and cables, or complex hierarchies of bones, such as in a ragdoll model. These physical objects can also have lighting and material effects. And this demonstration shows objects that glow, give off light, and so on. Physical objects cast dynamic shadows as you would expect. With the support knocked out of the way, the entire system collapses, and we can see that the light casts shadow from above as well. Complex materials are the key to next-generation graphics in games. Unreal Engine 3 gives artists complete control over powerful pixel shader 2.0 and 3.0 effects. All materials in this level were created by a level designer and required no programming whatsoever. On the right, we have an iridescent material. On the left, a complex panning material with an emissive channel. Virtual displacement mapping on this cube creates the illusion that the veins on the grill obscure each other. Viewed in wireframe, however, it's clear this detail is in the material and not the mesh. This next object demonstrates frame buffer distortion. As the camera moves around the object, the surrounding scene becomes distorted by the material. The bloom effect on this object is enabled through high dynamic range lighting. The material for the object's emissive channel is multiplied by a high value to exaggerate the effect. Here we have another lighting function, a stained glass environment that is being rotated along the cube. Because it's a light, it both attenuates and shadows realistically. The light projects on the character correctly and also soft shadows the world around him. Let's look at the character detail that can be achieved in Unreal Engine 3. This particular model is about 7,500 polygons for the low-resolution mesh, and about 2 million polygons for the high-resolution mesh. Many of the smaller details in the high-res mesh, like the wrinkles around its mouth and throat, were hand-painted into the normal map. This lets artists add an extra level of detail without having to model it by hand. The wings on this character demonstrate light transmission. The wing material has a mask, which tells it how much light to allow through to the other side. The veins in the wing membrane get darker when they block light from passing through from the other side. This is another example of a high polygon creature. This character is around 8 million polygons for the high-resolution mesh, and about 8,500 for the low. It clearly illustrates the amount of detail possible in Unreal Engine 3 characters, both from in-game polygons and from a map. Now let's see some of these characters in action.